on the topic software asset management in the age of blockchain. By means of this next session, our speaker, Jeremy Boerger, owner and founder of Boerger Consulting LLC, will help us find answers to some of the most crucial questions tagged along with blockchain. Has blockchain technology's entry complicated things further, or is it a blessing in disguise? Let's hear from Jeremy. Welcome him to the stage.
All right. Hello, all, and good morning. It's these things, these opening programs can always be a little weird. They can go one of two ways. Either everybody's really like ripping ready to go, or we're still jet lagged from getting in late last night and waking up. I am definitely in the latter. So thank you for attending. And if it's all the same to you, do we get started right now or do we have a, excellent. Okay. So I want to talk to you a little bit about software asset management in the age of blockchain, but with Disney's DuckTales. So without further ado, here we go. Life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Race cars, lasers, airplanes, it's a duck blur. And if you're of a particular age, that little theme song kind of resonates with you. So right here while the video is playing, let's go in. I want to level set with a couple of introductions and talk a little bit, not so much about what blockchain is, because I think everybody here in the room is familiar with that concept, but you probably don't understand or haven't been exposed to the concept of software asset management. And that is my specialty. So a little bit about me. I am a, well, no, okay. That is not me. But graduate from the University of Dayton. My specialty is actually philosophy and military history. And started my journey in IT and IT asset management relatively early. But I realized that there was an issue with getting more information out about how to do asset management properly. I approached the problem a little bit uniquely. So started my own company in 2017 and recently published a book, Rethinking Information Technology Asset Management. And here after the conversation, I'd be happy to chat with you over at my booth. So let's talk a little bit about what we're going to really focus in on today, since we only have a little bit of time. The current software asset management tools and techniques are inadequate because medium and large organizations are still losing software to software piracy, losing income to software privacy, audits, squeezing individual purchasers and client customers, and the concept of shadow IT that keeps bubbling up inside what's supposed to be a walled garden of corporate internet technology. I propose that the uniqueness of the blockchain technology actually provides a set of protections that should really be leveraged and could actually solve this problem in the future. So again, as I said, most of us here understand what blockchain is, but you might not be exposed to the idea of software asset management. So what is software asset management? Well, the ITIL version 4 actually finally gives us a definition. Version 3, it was very pedestrian. Well, you need to do this. And version 2, they didn't even bother to give you a definition. But in short, IT asset management is making sure that the organization gets the maximum value out of its IT spend on its hardware and its software. And you can do that one of two ways, either by extending the useful the usefulness of that thing, that asset over the course of its life cycle, usable life, or reducing the overall cost. It's that simple. Now, one thing that I do want to point out is that we tend to break out hardware from software. And that's kind of a weird concept. Why do we consider software asset management when you're dealing just with the software and the use rights different from the hardware and the maintenance rights? We're going to talk about that a little bit more. So keep that in the back of your head. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I actually answered my question. See, never ask a question that you don't already know the answer to. We consider hardware easy and software not easy. Well, here's kind of an idea on why. I'm sorry. First, some facts. 30%. That's a big number, but it is projected that 30% of an organization's software budget can be recovered with a proper asset management program. This number actually comes from Gartner, and back in 2016. And here's a little quote for those of you that like to read. If you have a subscription to Gartner, you can look this up. But the organization, the results actually come from 3 different areas. One is the recycling of software licenses, not buying stuff that you've already got, but when you realize that it frees up, interrupting the net new purchase process and using that again. How many times do we see Office 365 or Adobe Acrobat just rebought because? Oops, I'm sorry, I backed that up. No, that's okay. A little Huey, Dewey, and Louie action here. The other thing is that how often do we not match up the feature sets of particular software and software additions with what our end users are actually doing? Again, Acrobat Professional is an extremely powerful tool, but how many people are actually using its full capacity and are just looking at pictures of anthropomorphic ducks? And then finally, there are SAM tools. Think ServiceNow, Flexera, and a half a dozen others that are out there on the market that can help a asset manager track the software usage, make sure that the purchases or the usage does not outstrip the purchases, and put yourself at risk of an audit. And if you want access to this article, here is a quick QR code that if you have a subscription, you can get to it. So I'll leave that up there for anybody that wants to snap a shot. And we'll keep going. How am I doing on time? Yay, nay, I don't see the clock running. Oh, okay, very good. So one other number to consider is 84%. Last year, coming up on 2 years ago, 84% of organizations report that their ITM programs are ineffective. Now think about that for a second. Gartner predicts you can save 30% of your software spend with an ITM program. And now in June of 2021, we're being told over 3/4 of those organizations have not seen a dime resulting from those efforts. And there's one more in here. Yes, 6 out of 10 of those respondents say that it's not even a self-funding program. They're just dumping money into IT or the IT asset management system. And nearly half of those admit that it's going to take them another 2 years before they can even hope to see a green dollar come back. So think about it again. 30% savings ought to be there. 84% say they haven't seen a thing. And it's going to take another 2 years from 2016 to now to 2023. Nobody's going to see any improvement. Again, if you're looking for this survey, here's a quick QR code. The slide decks will be available after the session, so you can always grab them there too. I see somebody getting one last picture. Very good. So why do SAM programs keep failing? That's the big question. Well, I've got some ideas. And one of those I wanted to suggest is what's known as the double spend conundrum. Remember when I asked about why hardware is easy and software is hard? Is because hardware follows our innate idea of commerce. You have a thing, you trade that thing for cash, money. You no longer have that thing, but you've got the other person's money, and the other person is going to go off and do whatever they want to do with it. But consider this, move the slides around a little bit. Can hardware be hacked? Well, yeah. If you ever have seen this penny slug in action, you can absolutely do a double spend, keep that penny, and walk into the event. If you haven't seen the little clip from Modern Inventions with Donald Duck, it is pretty cute. Software allows for infinite copies of itself. So you have the risk of a double spend where you pay for it once and then blow it out to your entire corporate environment. That's software piracy in my world. And we've seen the same issue with cryptocurrency or NFTs or other data access. How do you make sure that that data doesn't, or that thing doesn't just get recreated and passed around when there's supposed to be some sort of control? Now, there's one other thing that I want to kind of like leave out here when we finish this slide. Software publishers, though, know that they can't push too hard. They can make it really difficult in order to prevent software piracy, but then they will offer up as part of their volume license agreements, master license keys, the ability to quickly implement into your environment, pass it around to everybody that's in your corporate structure. Why would they do that in the first place if their real concern is getting the money for their intellectual property? Hold on to that thought. Now, there's another issue that we've got to talk about, and it is what I like to refer to as the three-headed monster. There are three different groups that software asset managers should really be paying attention to, and they don't do a good job of paying attention to all three of them at the same time. First off is the software publishers. Think Microsoft, think Adobe, think all of those folks that fit in your FANG investment portfolios. They're developing new tools, new technologies that organizations want in order to do their business better, right? And we like to get paid back as shareholders some of that investment. But those corporate customers are looking at these software tools and these hardware tools and saying, this is great, but next year, you're just going to up the price. And am I really going to have an extra value coming from that price increase? So you've got that need to be able to use these pieces of software to actually deliver on what the corporate customer wants to do in their business. And then finally, number three, the corporate end users. Now, these are the folks that are actually doing the work with this software. They have an agenda themselves. They want to work smarter, not harder. They want to get their work done. They enjoy it work. I'm going to assume that they do. But they can't keep using antiquated. I landed way too late last night, or way too early this morning. Antiquated tools and technologies to get the job done. So consider, though, that when it comes to current software asset management tooling, most people only pay attention to the software publishers and the corporate customers. They tend to forget what kind of an impact corporate end users can have. So let's talk about these three folks. And I'm going to let's just kind of blow through here. I don't want to take up too terribly much time. The software publishers, our little gyro gear loose here. as I said, they want to generate revenue off the intellectual property from the tools that they've been creating, but they have an expectation of their corporate customers and their end users that they're going to buy this stuff and they're going to keep buying this stuff. But they also kind of live in fear that they're going to abuse this IP and this software and not pay their fair share. It's a legitimate concern. I haven't seen any recent data, but there's something around a multi-billion-dollar market approaching $1 trillion in software piracy around the world. So the result is that software publishers can't trust corporate customers nor end users to respect their IP. So they go around auditing people to make sure that you're actually using what you've actually paid for. Now, let's talk about the next group, the corporate customers. How am I doing on time? I'll take my time, but hurry it up. I hear you. Okay. Their goal is to commoditize better, faster, cheaper IT because they're trying to turn widgets out and they need IT to keep the people that are turning out those widgets informed. Email's got to be up. Purchasing programs have got to be up, and the like. Software publishers, though, are delivering goods and services that will return. Oh, yeah, I just said that. But software publishers are going to be increasing the prices and offering new tools without necessarily providing much of a offer of benefit. And then, of course, end users are going to come along and steal the stuff. So, come back here to So what ends up happening? Corporate customers cannot trust software publishers or end users to respect what's going on and put the corporate activity in an issue because, or put the corporation in an issue because of design or negligence. Finally, the end users. And I'm going to have to stop it right here. I have a bit of an issue. I'm going to need to back away for a moment.